The world of ReZero is genuinely way more massive than you think. Where most people are only in tune with the main nation in the ReZero world being Lugunica, where the main story mainly takes place, many are unaware of the other nations, the other factions, the religions, the gangs, and everything else that is going on within the world. ReZero undoubtedly has some of the best world building out there, and today I will be going in on all of that world building. And not just the other nations, but the history, the geography, the cities, the states. There is so much more than just what is seen at the surface within the anime. So if you're into this type of content and into ReZero, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. And anyways, let's just go ahead and get right into the video explaining the whole entire ReZero world. Starting off, I will be going over the structure of the ReZero world. For those of you that do not know, the ReZero world is flat. It's said to resemble a diorama model. The world has a sun and a moon, and they both orbit the world in contrast to the Earth orbiting the sun. On top of this, the ReZero world runs on a similar schedule to that of Earth, in which there are 25 plus day months, and they run on a 24-hour cycle. The physics within the ReZero world are also that akin to Earth, except the only difference is there is magical properties within the ReZero world. All around the world and the four great nations, the world is surrounded by the Great Waterfall, which within the ReZero world is the known edge of existence, and the only people who know what are beyond the Great Waterfall are the dragons within the series that used to fly over it centuries ago. It is also to be mentioned that the ReZero world used to be double in size until the Witch of Envy and Satella destroyed the world within her great calamity around 400 years ago before she was promptly sealed. Prior to her destroying the world, there were previously nations to the west of Kararagi, which in current ReZero timeline is the most western state. And before Kararagi was unified, the western union of the world was divided into multiple smaller nations. But before I get into Kararagi and those other nations, I would like to start with the mainstay nation of the ReZero world, and the nation that originally the story was only ever supposed to take place in, that being Lugunica. The author Tappei Nagatsuki originally planned for Lugunica to be the only nation that we ever see within the ReZero world, but he later decided that this was not going to be the case, expanding into other nations, which we will discuss later, such as Vollachia. The Dragon Kingdom of Lugunica is a royal serving kingdom that was originally ran by the royal family of Lugunica. It serves to host about 50 million people, and the Lugunican family were the ones who hosted the world. This was until they mysteriously started dying out about 14 to 15 years before Subaru's arrival to the world. Lugunica is the easternmost country within the ReZero world, and it sits in between 5 major city-states. The royal capital, where a lot of the story takes place, sits in between these 5 states, forming a pentagon. The country itself is medieval, and religion runs strong throughout the country, in which they have divine belief in the divine dragon. The royal capital itself hosts up to over 300,000 people, which is massive in terms of the ReZero world. Demi-humans, elves, and half-elves live amongst each other, in which Lugunica is a nation where racial tensions are very high, in which the past there was something called the Demi-Human War. The nation itself is regionally divided into north, east, south, and west, in which the west is considered a place of exile for weirdos. As mentioned for the government, the former royal family has completely collapsed, putting the nation in a state of martial law, in which a council of wise men are the ones holding the nation down for the time being until the royal selection commences and takes place, and we have a new monarch crowned among the 5 women that we see within the main story. Due to the divine covenant with the divine dragon Volcanica, prophecies foretold on the Dragon's Stole have heavy influence and heavy impact on the nation's decisions. Magic is extremely prominent within the divine kingdom of Lugunica, in which Roswell is the main leader in this, and after the Demi-Human War was over, they started doing magic research. As mentioned with the religion, the divine dragon is held as deity, along with some historical figures such as the Sage and the Sword Saint, which are both also held in high regard. As for the economy of the nation, it is divided into 4 different coins: copper, silver, gold, and holy gold, with holy gold having an image of the divine dragon on it, and something such as silver holding an image of the sage, Flugel. As for the economy of the royal nation of Lugunica, it is said to be struggling due to famine and instability amongst the nation. There is a couple of groups and factions that have arisen inside of the nation of Lugunica, that being the Golden Wings and the Brotherhood. These groups have contrasting ideologies for the nation. As the Brotherhood is focused on being against nobilism, the Golden Wing faction is for it. As for the infrastructure, it is considered to be strong, and slavery is outlawed within Lugunica, and the working age is 15, along with being able to do things such as smoke and drink. As for the nation's military and defense, they are extremely proficient in magic and magical defense, as previously mentioned, but that can all be cast to the side due to the fact that they currently hold the strongest person within the ReZero world, that being Reinhardt, to the point where there has had to been laws made about him in regards to him going to other countries. The overall military strength of Lugunica, though, has been extremely weakened due to their over-reliance on the dragon, in which Crush from Season 1 has been making an effort to try to modernize the military and fix the previous problems and reliance on the dragon. Despite some economic recovery within recent years, it is safe to say that the nation of Lugunica is heavily impacted by racial tensions and stuff within the past, specifically the Demi-Human War, which has had a lasting impact upon the nation itself. Furthermore, the class divide within Lugunica is extremely strong, as we see felt within Season 1 of the anime, in which nobles and peasant people are very disregarded from each other. Within Lugunica, there are 5 major cities. The first being Pikutaut, I'm not sure exactly how to say it, being in the southernmost part of the kingdom, and is inspired by Arabian culture. It is a major trade district for Lugunica and the Vollachian Empire. The next up is Coastal, aka the Industrial District. This is home to the 2 main groups within the ReZero world, or within Lugunica, I should say, that being the previously mentioned Golden Wing faction and the Brotherhood. It is populated mainly by the minority group within Lugunica, that being the Demi-Humans, and is the newest of the cities within the ReZero world, and it is known for its creation of magic industries and magic tools. Next up is Flanders, aka the Earth Dragon capital, and is known for its relation with Volcanica and its history with the Divine Dragon. It is located within the southeast, and is famous for being near the Estrella Manor, and on top of that, the Earth Dragons that it uses for its industry and agriculture. Next up is Ganax, the mining city, which is located in southeast Lugunica near Elier Forest, which is where Amelia's backstory takes place if you did not know. It is known for its mining and vibrant nightlife, but there is a dangerous underground criminal, culture that goes on within this city. And last but not least is the royal capital, which was already mentioned. As for other locations within Lugunica outside of these major cities, you have Elier Forest, which has been frozen over by Amelia and is near the Roswell Manor. On top of this, you have the Gina Mountain Range, which is government-controlled mining and is often associated with legends about the dragon. And after this, you have the Agara Sand Dunes, which is an extremely dangerous desert within the ReZero world, home to many, many witch beasts, and also home to the Pleiades Watchtower and the supposed sage, Flugel, who we will see this area expanded on within the next season of ReZero. As for other sites, there is the Sanctuary, which hosted the trials within Season 2 of the anime, and Sphinx Testing Site, which you need Sphinx Odd to actually enter. Oh, and of course the evil Sealing Stone Shrine, which sealed Satella. There is multiple highways and villages, and the infrastructure is relatively good within the nation of Lugunica, but that about does it for Lugunica. That is the main nation state, and the world that we know the most about compared to the other nations. I can't wait for more to be expanded upon it, and honestly saying all of this right now sounds a bit crazy, considering how much of this really just isn't in the anime. Like, if you're an anime only, you really don't have any idea how expansive the ReZero world truly is. But anyways, moving on to the next nation, that is going to be the Vollachian Empire, which you will see a lot in future arcs of ReZero. The expansion to the Vollachian Empire was Tappei's main decision to expand the ReZero world outside of the nation of Lugunica within the main story. Ideologically is very different to Lugunica, in which wolves are their main symbolic animal as seen by their flag, and they believe that the strong are who rule over the weak. Strength is prioritized within the nation of Vollachia and is honestly the highest regard for you as a person. It is the largest known nation within the ReZero world and is also the southernmost nation. A large part of Arc 7 and Arc 8 take place here, as previously mentioned. It is home to many, many demi-humans and clans, in which demi-humans are treated relatively better within this nation, as like I said, class is not really a thing. You are held in regards to your strength. Due to being the southernmost nation, the climate is relatively warm year-round and is highly stable. On top of this, there is a lack of witch beasts within Vollachia due to aggressive campaigning by the government to eliminate them. It is rich in many, many natural resources on top of this. As for the clans, there are multiple within this nation. Clans such as the Multi-Arm Clan and the Insect Cage Clan, which the previously mentioned is known for its raw strength, and the latter is known for its technique. In complete contrast to the nation of Lugunica, magic is extremely rare within Vollachia and is often looked down upon, as like I said, they value strength. This means healers are often lacking, as healing is done through primitive means. One of the main locations within Vollachia, being the Crystal Palace, was made off of the crystals coming out of deceased spirits, which makes the spirit presence within Vollachia very lacking. High-class spirits within Vollachia are essentially extinct. As for the government within Vollachia, it is an autocratic imperial monarchy, except it is not hereditary, it is instead given to the strongest, and whoever becomes king earns it. A parliament does exist, but it is often not noted within the story and is often sidecasted and does not hold much power within the nation. Nobility is divided into three classes, being low, mid, and high, in which high has influence on the overall state of the nation and who is going to be on the throne. As mentioned before, in contrast to a nation like Lugunica, race or class does not divide the people here. It is strength. You are solely determined on your strength within Vollachia, and if you are weak or disabled, you are often disregarded. As for the military, it is stated to be the strongest out of the four great nations and is divided into 9 divine generals. As for the economy, it is similar to Lugunica, being that it is gold-based, and despite tensions, they often still do trade with one another. As for religion and ideology, there is no main religion within Vollachia. Instead, the ideology is based upon strength. And Vollachia's version of the dragon's divine stone are these things called stargazers. Stargazers are people who are told prophecies by the observers in which they can predict the future. This is pretty important for the future part of ReZero, so pay attention to that. The capital of Vollachia is Lugunica. It is star-shaped and divided into 5 sides. It is the administrative, political, and authoritative heart of the nation, in which this is where the king resides and most of the political decisions are casted. This is also where the previously mentioned Crystal Palace is. The West Empire is home to the Chaos Flame Demon City, which it is home to many mixed races, and there is really no governing law. It is state-ran, and the actual nation of Vollachia has no say in what goes on there, hint the name, Chaos. Other areas within the West include Glorassia, which is close to the Genuhava Gladiator Island, which I will talk about soon. As for the north part of the empire, there was once a city called Garkla, which was supposed to be a fortified base city, in which it was destroyed by Regulus about 15 years ago, in which it was rebuilt and now overlooks the tropics. The east part of the empire is a lot of where the mainstay is, such as Mesoria, aka the Dragon City, which is known for its flying dragons and overcasting skies, along with the God-laid waterfall, which is known for its aquatic witch beast, and the waterfall itself is said to descend into the abyss, along with Lake Penelope, Faradar, which is home to the Evil Eye tribe, and the Nameless Graveyard, which is a secret royal tomb. In the southwest, there is Gurala, which has massive walls said to hold off titans, Budahan Jungle, and Shudrock Village, which hosts the all-female dark-skinned warrior tribe that we see within Arc 7. In the southern region, we have Genuhava, which is home to Gladiator Island, which a main part takes place here. There is a lot of history with Gladiator Island and certain characters who used to inhabit there, such as Reed over 400 years ago was said to have won over 6,000 fights at Gladiator Island. It is within the middle of a large lake, which is said to be home to multiple of witch beasts that are aquatic. And lastly, there is the Krokron grasslands, two nomadic warrior tribes which are in a constant shift of power due to instability. As for notable landmarks for the nation, there is Mount Pozzola, which is home to cloud dragons and their testing site for flying, Lake Vilan, which is what surrounds Gladiator Island, and the Gairala Tropical, which is a tropical lake around the kingdom and the empire. But that about does it for Vollachia. This is also, along with Lugunica, probably the most expansive region within the ReZero world, and another area that we know an extreme amount about. Next up, we have Kararagi, and personally what I consider to be the most interesting nation within all of ReZero. This is the westernmost nation and is heavily inspired by Japanese culture. Climate itself is harsh and wide-ranging, in which the temperature itself is usually pretty warm. In many ways, it is reflective of modern-day Japan, in which it has things such as cherry trees, but also very interesting things such as moving forests and magic stone dunes. As for the government itself, it is a decentralized confederation of 10 semi-independent city-states. Each city-state elect a mayor, in which these mayors come together and form their own council, and among the council, they lead and vote for a representative for the nation of Kararagi. Corruption is extremely widespread within Kararagi, and we can kind of see this with Anastasia herself, somebody who is quite greedy and a bit corrupt herself. As for the nation itself, it was founded by none other than Alec Hoshin, in which he is revered like a mythical hero within the nation of Kararagi, with Anastasia herself taking upon his last name. It is to be mentioned that originally many ReZero fans and the world itself thought Hoshin was also from Earth, but it was revealed within the Isekai Quartet side story that he is not, and instead he got all his Japanese knowledge and all the Japanese cultural design knowledge from Flugel himself. What's also to be mentioned is that Echidna of all people claimed that she built Kararagi with Hoshin. The culture itself is heavily inspired by Edo period Japan, along with the customs, language, and cuisine of the nation. As for the people incorporated within this state, demi-humans are highly incorporated, and it is a very social mobile system, which is impressive, especially in comparison to regards of a nation like Lugunica. Racial tensions and such are not really seen as much of a problem within this nation. As for the economy, free trade and privatized governance are prioritized, with proto-capitalism mercantile dominance. The economy is mainly driven by agriculture and craftwork. However, it is to be mentioned there is an illicit and dark underside to the Kararagi economy, as slavery is still legal in many regions of the country and black market activities henceforth take place, such as trafficking and assassinations. On a bit of a brighter note, Kararagi is known for its innovation, as magic is not really firsthand within this nation, and instead innovators are the leaders here. Engineers play a key role within the economy of this nation. As for the military itself, there is no standing military within Kararagi, and instead mercenary companies are the backbone of the nation's defense, such as Anastasia's company. Private shinobi operatives are also hired and paid for elite operatives and, things that need to be done. The mercenary groups include the Iron Fang, which is led by Ricardo and Anastasia, Scratch of Silver, which is a demi-human based mercenary group, and Hannibal, who he by himself runs his own. For the 10 major cities, the first is Kyo, which was the first main city within Kararagi and is located in about the center of the nation. Second was Benan, in which this is one of the rare cities within Kararagi where slavery is actually illegal. Third is Avida, and is what is home to Anastasia's Iron Fang company. Fourth is Fusumi, which is home to the cherry trees. Fifth is Outu, which borders the Great Waterfall. Sixth is Azamiki, which also borders the Great Waterfall. 7 is Teramitsu, which borders Gusteko. And cities 8 through 10 have yet to be named within the story of ReZero. As for Kararagi itself and the notable landmarks and locations, it is home to some of the most important locations within all of ReZero, and more specifically within the future of ReZero. The main one I want to talk about is the Grand Mogolad Geyser, in which this plays a very important event within current stuff within ReZero, and is seemingly going to play an important event within future stuff of ReZero. This geyser is said to erupt very often, leaving the area within a constant state of precipitation. And it's also said that at the bottom of this geyser goes all the way down to the bottom of the Great Waterfall, which is very important. Another thing to mention is the crag realm moving forest, in which the trees actually relocate within this forest. They move on their own, which is kind of crazy. And the Crimson Hill Gorel, which is a dangerous area and dune which is made of explosive crystal magics. Next up is Zaristia's Bed, which is a forbidden cave hosting Zaristia, who is one of the 4 great spirits within the ReZero world, along with Puck and one that we will mention soon. They also have the Free Trade Metropolitan Area, which is the origin of Anastasia and is said to be a place where free trade goes on unregulated. There is also a place called Nanu near the border of Vollachia, which will play a pretty important role for the future of ReZero. As for the economy and trade, the Hoshin Company is the main piece of economic income for this part of the world, which, as we know, is Anastasia's company. The currency is never exactly specified, but it is most likely going to be Odu coins, which is the main source of currency within the ReZero world. As for magic and religion, magic is barely ever discussed, and there is no religion within this nation. The only thing they have that's even close to religion is their respect they have for Hoshin, but as a whole, it is not in a religious sense, more so in a respectful sense and an idealistic sense. So this nation is quite different from Vollachia and Lugunica, and is the most akin to the real world out of all the worlds within ReZero. As for the last nation, we have the Holy Kingdom of Gusteko. This, up until this point right now, is still the most mysterious nation within the ReZero world, and the one that we know the least about. It is located directly north of Lugunica, and its year-round climate is said to be rough, harsh, and snowy, never stops snowing. The only part that has actually somewhat normal temperature is near the western edge, near the Jiminu volcano, in which the weather is more warmer and humid. The terrain is permafrost and seen as a divine trial. There is numerous glaciers throughout the nation, snowfields, and huge mountains. It is to be mentioned that some regions of Gusteko have hollow land or geothermal locations. They are extremely rich in magical ore due to all the mountains within the area. As for the governance, it is a theocracy in which the Holy King is chosen by the Great Spirit Oddglass. The true power is held by the Gustekan Church. The Church's doctrine is that all life is equal and suffering within the permafrost brings about spiritual salvation. And Oddglass is revered as the benevolent mother and the divine founding figure within the world. The majority race within this nation is humans, with a minority of demi-humans and actually a lot of spirits within this nation. There is to be said there is a weird bit of discrimination within this nation, that being discrimination against people with dark hair. So like our boy Subaru, for example. There is a high social pressure within Gusteko, which results in a lot of serial killers of all things emerging from the area. I mean, I guess we kind of see this with somebody such as Elsa. As for slavery within the nation, it is considered officially illegal, but most practice it anyways. As for the military, they have temple knights, who are elite theocratic enforcers, who are considered on par with Vollachia's Divine Nine generals, each of which have a unique blessing which grants partial immortality. And they all used personalized exotic weapons. On top of this, they have itinerant preachers who are loyal to the Holy Church and often secretly destroy settlements within the region. They also share the Temple Knight's immortality-related blessing. I could not talk about Gusteko also without mentioning who is considered the strongest person from that nation, that being the Mad Prince, who we still to this point know very, very, very little about, if not nothing, and I question if we will ever actually see him within the main story of ReZero. The curse arts are very prominent within Gusteko because after the Great Calamity, many curse arts users migrated to Gusteko. And spirits are highly integrated into society within Gusteko, as Oddglass themselves is considered the founding mother of the nation. As for the economy, their main source of income comes from magical ore mining due to all the mountains, and they have very little agriculture due to the weather. As for the cities, the main one is Glacia, which is home to the holy capital. Next is Enoran, aka the Snowfield capital, which was built on hollowed land, leaving it to be less cold. Then we have Eternia, which is a spirit city which has strong spiritual pressure. Next is Albus, which is a glacier city that is connected to Kararagi. Next is Driste, which is a mountain city. Next is Zespergo, which is known as the Torrid Hot City, which is the only hot city within the nation of Gusteko, near the volcano. Next is Liana, which was once a destroyed town that was rebuilt. And last but not least, Silphoa, which is stated to be a dreamlike town affected by a dreamlike phenomenon, which is quite interesting. As for important landmarks, there is the sacred mountain Paradokia, which is home to Oddglass herself. The Vault of Sacraments, which is a dungeon/prison, and is site of eternal slumber punishment. The Jimena volcano, which is the only hot region within the nation. It is also to be mentioned that the Holy King is really a puppet leader and does not hold any real power, and it is the church that holds all the power. As for the Mad Prince, his real name is Vague Adgard, who was once a royal descendant that has been permanently imprisoned. Then there's Elsa, who's a serial killer, Belly, who's also a serial killer, and Trelloc, who is yet again another serial killer, just another example of Gusteko's harsh reality. That about does it for Gusteko, and it does it for all of the 4 great nations. That was a lot, and there still is so much about ReZero that I could go into, and so much more other stuff to talk about, such as the history of these nations, but that's a video for another day. If you want to hear me talk about the history of the ReZero world and do a full deep dive on that, let me know. This was the ReZero world itself, the past events, and all the nations, all their city-states, and the type of world that they are. So if you like this type of content, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. I'm tired, and yeah, peace.